Hey everyone, and welcome to another match reaction show on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzie, and I'm your host for this evening. A very disappointing result this evening as Liverpool drew 2-2 against Aston Villa. So let's go through the key moments of the game. I'll then present my player ratings and give you guys the platform to come on the show and have your say. So if you'd like to join the stream, a link has been pinned in the live chat. So let's start with our first half review. We actually started the game really well. We played on the front foot and created some chances. Van Dijk has a volley from inside of the box. But unfortunately for him, skies it over the bar. Lovely pass from Trent Alexander-Arnold with the outside of his boot. Then Trent produces a great cross for Jota, but he fails to make real contact on the ball. It was a hindering moment there and a huge miss as he's normally very strong in the air. Curtis Jones, who's just returned to the lineup, does really well to hold off two Villa players. Then he threads the ball to Szoboszlai. He's through on goal. Unfortunately, he tries to dink it, but Martinez makes the crucial block in the end. Robo then produces a great cross for Mohamed Salah, but his header goes over the bar. But finally, Liverpool break the deadlock. Nothing from our own doing. Garcia hits a blind back pass and felt for him at the time as a neutral because he was actually having a good game for Villa. But Jota takes advantage. He drives with the ball, unselfishly squares it to Salah, who smashes the ball into the roof of the net to take the lead. And that's his 24th goal of the season. Fantastic stat there for Mohamed Salah. But then Villa equalised as Tielemans hits a left-footed shot into the back of the net. Poor defending from Liverpool as the Boslai fails to clear the ball away from danger. Jota almost responds instantly just from kickoff as he's through on goal, one-on-one with the keeper, but his execution was poor. He didn't wrap his foot around the ball and he then completely missed the target. Awful attempt from Jota, who's not been in great form in front of goal today. Then moments later, Curtis Jones had a shot from outside the box, just goes wide. But then Liverpool suffer a killer blow as Villa take the lead just before halftime. Luka Dean hits a great cross from the left hand side, and Watkins matches him with a pinpoint header in the corner. Second half, Aston Villa actually started more on the front foot. There was a moment where Allison has a rush of blood and comes out of his goal, tries to make a clearance but completely misses the ball. Rashford takes advantage and tries a looping shot towards goal, but Konate was there to make the goal line clearance. Jota then has a great chance as he hits a nice first touch and hits a shot with real power towards goal. Unfortunately for him, he clips the top of the bar. Very unlucky with that effort. But Liverpool finally got the equaliser. Salah lays it off to Trent, who positions himself and hits a shot towards goal. Gets a slight deflection, but the ball loops over the keeper and rolls into the back of the net. Then Armstrong makes a couple of substitutions. Trent gets substituted, which for me was a bit of a surprise as I felt like he was picking up some momentum after that goal, and it was quite evident in his face as he walked off the pitch. His replacement, Conor Bradley, has an instant impact. He hits a lovely through ball to Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai, not quite one-on-one, but he is, in front of the defender. So he has a chance of either going for goal or finding another alternative, and that was Darwin Nunes coming down that left hand side. So he squares it to Nunes. He's pretty much through on goal and completely misses the target from a few yards out. Look, I'm not going to defend him in any shape or form. That was an abysmal miss. Absolutely shocking. One of the worst misses I've seen this season. Really, really poor. Some will say, pressure from the defender or the left footed effort or just hit it with too much power. I don't really care. Those kind of moments, you need to bury it. You need to hit the back of the net. You can't be a striker and not finish those moments. So for me, really, really poor miss. And the crazy thing about that whole chance is that people are actually going at Szoboszlai, suggesting that he should have been the one scoring the goal. He should have gone and goal himself. Don't get me wrong. Initially, when I was doing my watch along, I wanted Szoboszlai to take that chance for himself and go for goal. But having looking back at it, I think he made the right decision to square it to a player that is supposed to be our striker, our number 9, and that's what he produces. I'm not having any supposed like abuse. I think he made the right call there, and that was just a shocking miss from Nunes. And Armstrong pretty much confirms it after the game in his post-match interview, suggesting that one player in particular will be feeling very down in regards to their performance in this match. So don't need to guess who that person is, but the writing's on the wall there. Back to the game. Villa then produced a great attack with Marlon. He's through on goal towards the right side of the box. Allison produces a great block to deny the striker. Now look, that Nunes miss was diabolical. But the next moment wasn't too far off in my eyes. There was a moment where he initially does well. He nicks the ball off the Villa defender. He applies a heavy first touch, but he's charging down that left-hand side. The goalkeeper's out of his line, so he's going to try and make it into a 50-50 challenge. Salah is in open space on the right side of the pitch, across the other side. All he had to do was square it to Salah, and Salah would have scored an open goal. But Nunes either fails to see him across the pitch, or he wanted to do it his own way, and he tries to go past the keeper. Now, look, for me, he made the wrong decision. He should have squared it to Salah, and Salah would have easily scored that. But let's say you disagree with me and you think that he did make the right decision to go on his own. Why didn't he dink the ball over the keeper to the Martin? Why didn't he dink the ball over Martinez's tackle? Or at least take it around him? There's so many things he could have done. I'm going to say it point blank. I think Nunes has zero game intelligence. I don't want to put him down or suggest that he's the reason why we didn't get the win today, but he's simply not good enough for us. He really isn't. He makes too many bad decisions, and I don't think he has a high football IQ. I really don't, because this is not the first time he's produced these moments countless amount of times over the years. And for me, it's- he should not be the main striker at Liverpool or the number nine, however you want to phrase it. Because some will disagree and say, well, he doesn't play week in, week out. But even still, you're playing for Liverpool Football Club. You should be playing at a certain level. I expect my strikers to hit the back of the net from open goal. And I expect my strikers to square the ball when required. Most people would have squared that any day of the week. So for me, he's just simply not good enough. But moving on, Allison produces a fantastic long ball to create a counter attack for Liverpool. Salah is on his own at that stage, but Nunes is trying to run and help him out. He feds it to Nunes. Nunes controls the ball, cuts inside, tries to create half a yard for himself, and manages to find a decent angle to hit that shot. But instead of shooting, he threads it to Szoboszlai. And to be fair, it was a poor attempt of a pass. Simply awful play from Nunes. And for me, he did nothing correct when he came on the pitch. The ref then presents 5 minutes of stoppage time, and it's a nervy end to the game, just like it was against Wolves over the weekend. But the difference was Villa almost got the winner on a couple occasions. Rodgers had a shot where he created space in the middle of the box. Unfortunately for him, his shot goes over the bar. Then Marlon hits a shot across goal. I thought it was going to rattle the bottom corner, but thankfully it just missed the post. Very close from the Dutchman. But thankfully, in the end, for us, we walk away with a point. Big question: have we dropped points, or is this a good win, or should I say a good point? Um, Honestly, I would say it's dropped points. I believe we create enough chances to win this game. Aston Villa didn't create that many shots on goal, but the difference was that they were clinical with the limited chances that they produced in the game. So we need to do much better. And I have to be honest, I'm slightly concerned with how we're playing as an attacking unit. We're very heavily reliant on Mohamed Salah to bail us out on every game, and it shouldn't be like that. We have enough firepower to take teams out, but right now we're shooting blanks, and things need to change going forward. And also defensively, we haven't been great either. But I feel like sometimes when you don't have the best defense or you're not solid at the back, let the attack do the defending for you. And I believe we have the quality to outscore most teams, and we failed to do, unfortunately, this evening. Okay, that's my uh, match review there. But let me end the review in a more of a positive light. We've played an extra game, but we're still 8 points clear. Some fans are going slightly overboard, if I'm being honest with you, online and on other platforms. to suggest that we're bottling the title right now. For me, I do not see it in that way at all. Remember, everyone, Arsenal need to win their games. There's no guarantee that they will get maximum points. They've got a lot of injuries, so it's nothing that is set in stone. There's nothing to suggest that they will, go on a winning streak. So going forward, we need to keep it moving and focus on our next game, which is against Man City this Sunday. Of course, they're just being knocked out of the Champions League in the hands of Real Madrid. So their morale is low. So we need to try and capitalize and get a win at the Etihad. It hasn't happened a lot in recent years. So hopefully we can break the curse and make it happen this weekend. So before we close the show, let's do the player ratings and feel free to get involved and let me know your scores of the players' performances today as well. So we'll start with the goalkeeper. Allison, to be honest with you, thought was very shaky today. There were a lot of moments where I didn't feel confident with his overall play. The only part that I did feel confident, which is slightly surprising at times because he can be erratic, is his distribution, where he was, spraying the passes around well. He almost created a chance out of nothing in the latter stage of the second half. Um, I thought he was a bit shaky. In the second half, that moment he had where he came out of the goal and almost took out Rashford, but he didn't get the ball, and that almost cost us a goal. Because if that had gone in, it would have been 3-1, and then probably curtains for us in terms of getting anything from the game. So there were moments where he produced, moments that are slightly erratic. So I don't think he had the best of games. I don't think he was very solid today, but still an average performance from our goalkeeper. So with that said, I'm going to give him a rating of 6 out of 10. Trent, for me, I think defensively wasn't the best today. There were moments where one on one he did make some decent blocks with Rashford, who was his opponent for the first half. Now, I don't know if this is tactically deployed by Ozwrld, but because he was given a bit more of a free role and he was pretty much playing inverted for most of the game or most of his time on the pitch, he exposed a lot of space on that side of the pitch. Didn't track back. It looked like on occasions where he didn't really want to put in the effort or really wanted to, use his stamina to stop an attack from happening. So I don't know. I can't say for sure, but from what I saw on the pitch, I didn't feel like there was full effort from him. In terms of what he produced from attacking side, I think he produced some good crosses, some decent passes, and of course got the goal as well. I was very surprised, despite not having the best of games that he was substituted at the time he was. I feel like he was actually picking up a bit of momentum. That goal gave him a bit of a lift, and I felt like he was going to go on and really help Liverpool create some chances. And hopefully, at that time, I was thinking maybe he'll help us get the lead. So for me, that's an error. I would have played Trent for at least another 5, 10 minutes and then brought on Conor Bradley. I know he's trying to manage his minutes, but sometimes you got to go with your gut. And if a player's having a good run of minutes, just give him an extra 5, give him an extra 10 minutes, and maybe he'll be able to create something for us. And then you can take him off the pitch and rest him for the next few days before we play Man City. So bit of a mixed match performance, I would say, from Trent. Got a goal for us, but I don't think defensively he was the best today. So in terms of his rating, I'll also give him a 6 out of 10. Konate actually for was one of our dominant players today. I feel like he won most of his aerial challenges, cleared the ball on numerous occasions. I mentioned that chance with Rashford trying to loop the ball inside the goal. He was the one that made that goal line clearance. So overall, I thought Konate was really, really solid today. Didn't put a foot wrong, even in terms of distribution, kept it neat, kept it tidy. I don't think he had a bad game in that regards. But obviously, as a collective, I can't give him a very high rating because we've conceded 2 goals and we haven't won the game. So with that said, I'm going to give Kanate 7.5. That might seem high for some, but I think he warrants it. I think he had a very solid game today. Virgil van Dijk wasn't too far off, to be honest with you. I thought he was quite solid on occasions. I don't think he put a foot wrong. He had a couple of moments, obviously, on goal. I'm not gonna, devalue his rating because he didn't score a goal or two. He had a volley in the first half, then he also had a header moments later. So it wasn't a clear cut header, it was a header from a corner kick, but he wasn't able to guide it on goal. So for me, I had a decent performance, but I feel like Konate was the better centre back today if I had to do a comparison. So I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Robertson, a bit more quieter in comparison to his last game. I thought in his last game he was a bit more involved from an attacking point of view and defensively. Today, I don't know, he just seemed to go through the motions more than anything else. He didn't really contribute and he didn't really stand out for me today. Defensively, he wasn't really exploited as such. And having said that, Morgan Rogers, when he was attacking the channel, got the best of him a couple of times. And also, Asensio drifted in that position and he got on the ball and tried to, create something out of nothing in those moments. Attacking was, in terms of set pieces, corner kicks were average. I can't really think of anything that really stood out for me in terms of Robertson's performance. So I thought it was a very average performance. I don't think he was as bad as Trent from a defensive point of view. So with that said, I'll probably give him an equal score. Actually, I think Trent gets 6 because he gets the goal. It would have been a bit less. So I'm going to give Robertson a 6 out of 10. Gravenberch, you know what? I feel for the guy. He looked tired today. It wasn't the same energy levels that we've seen this season. And look, you don't want to predict these things, but it's bound to happen because we've over relied on it. We didn't recruit a CDM in the summer. We didn't address it in the January window. So it's always going to be overworked. Now, Endo has been playing in recent weeks, but I don't feel like he plays enough. I feel like there should be games where he's actually starting in order to rest Gravenberch. This would have been a decent game to rest him. Obviously, I predicted that Gravenberch will start in this fixture, but going forward, I feel like we need to trust Endo a little bit more. The cameo that he produced against Wolves shows that he does have in his locker to really be the sort of the gel in the team to make sure everything is protected, everything is smooth, and make sure that no one is going through us from a defensive unit point of view. So yeah, he just lacked energy. In the second half, he did make a couple of blocks and a couple of interceptions, but he didn't really stand out for me today. Very, very below average performance from Gravenberch, unfortunately. So in terms of his rating, I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. McAllister for me was just slightly better, and I'm only giving him a slightly better rating on the basis that I think he was involved more. I think he was able to distribute the ball a lot more. He was definitely involved in a lot of physical battles. He was definitely on the receiving end. I was on the ground on a number of occasions, but I thought he was all right. I think set pieces produced some decent deliveries. Nothing led to anything concrete in that regards. So I thought he was slightly better than Gravenberch, but I don't think overall he had a great game. I don't think he dictated play or he didn't really set the tempo for us. Um, I think he was hustling and bustled quite a bit as well. So surprises me that was the case because I don't know. In my match preview, I wanted him to play a bit more further up and have Gravenberch as the sort of single pivot. That way, McAllister and Szoboszlai would have been able to apply more pressure on your Tillemans and your McGinn, but we didn't really do that today. We gave them a bit more freedom to play their game, and I think we tried to exploit them with our passing, but I don't think our passing game was that good today. So, with that said, in terms of McAllister's rating, I'll give him a 6 out of 10. I feel like I might be even generous with that. Should probably be a 5.5, but I'll give him a 6 for now. Where do we start? So Bosley, yeah, he he had a bit of a mixed match performance, to say the least. That chance that was created by Jones, which let's say out loud, fantastic hold up play from Jones to fed it to Szoboszlai. For me, just didn't have the conviction to just think it over the keeper. So I was a little bit disappointed with his effort there. In terms of the second half, the pass for Nunes to score that open goal, it's the right decision. Some may agree, some may disagree. For me, he made the right call. You have to look at the sort of probability, who scores in that sort of moment. Yes, he probably should go on and score in that one-on-one situation, but he's not a prolific striker. That's not him. He's a midfielder. So a midfielder always looks at his surroundings, where if there's a player in a better position, let me be the creator in that moment rather than going for goal. So he saw Darwin Núñez, who's our number 9, our striker, in a decent position ahead of the defender. All he had to do was literally pass it into the goal. He didn't need to smash it with any power, just literally pass it into the goal. And he failed to do that. So for me, that's not on Szoboszlai. Yes, in hindsight, look at me and say maybe he should have shot on goal. But he went for the opportunity where you expect a striker to score an open goal. Let's be brutally honest. In his moment, he had a defender on his left shoulder and he had Martinez. And obviously, Martinez is quite a big, quite a solid keeper. So he could have pulled a great save. He's got great reflexes. So that could have been a possibility. So he thought rather than taking that attempt, I'd rather give it to my striker there on my left side and he can slot it in. And that never occurred, unfortunately. So for me, that's not based on Szoboszlai's performance. But look, on and off the ball, I think there's moments where he needs to improve in the final third. But I think what he produced on the game is exactly what we wanted. We wanted high energy from our midfielder. We wanted more dynamic runs from him, which he did on occasions. So I thought he had an okay game, if I'm being really honest. So in that regards, I'll give him a 5 out of 10 as well. Curtis Jones. Now, firstly, I was quite surprised to see him start the game in a left wing position. I thought it would have been Szoboszlai because Szoboszlai did make that switch in the last fixture, in the I've said the last 15, 20 minutes against Wolves. And we all know his history where he's used to play as a left winger for Red Bull Leipzig. So I thought maybe that would have been the natural fit to place him there. Jones can play on the left side because I've seen him do it for his youth days, where he played left side. He played as a number 10 for the Liverpool reserves and the under 20 and 18s, all that sort of stuff. But I was quite surprised to see him playing that role. But I have to be honest, fair play to him. I think he did a decent job. I thought he was very good on the ball, looked comfortable in possession, kept the ball neat and tidy as well. Um, Provided a great assist for Samosa, who wasn't able to finish, but that's based on his strength there in terms of his ability. Had a shot as well that just missed the target. And then during the second half, he was asked to play in different roles, so I ended up playing in the double pivot in the end. And for me, just looked comfortable whenever he was switched in a different position. Didn't give the ball away, kept everything in cohesion with the team. So for me, I thought he's probably one of our better midfielders in today's game. So I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I thought he did stand out. I think he was good, and he did everything that was required from him. He didn't have an outstanding performance, where something was eye catching, but what I saw on the pitch was effort. I think he was efficient on the ball, and that's what you want from your midfielder. You don't want your players to lose possession. He didn't do that today. Um, had a decent, run in terms of creating chances for himself and try and create chances for other players. If they don't finish, that's not on him. He was the creator. So you have to look at the other players. Why didn't they score? Which is, Szoboszlai in that moment. But I think overall, a good performance from Johnson and good to see him back in the team. And of course, received a second year against Everton. So we needed another body in midfield. So yeah, good to see him back in action. Mohamed Salah, I actually thought he had a decent game. I don't think he was quiet in that shape. I think he tried his best to really go at Luka Dean. Luka Dean, I'll be honest with you, got some lucky blocks where I feel like he just closed his eyes and tried to make a challenge, and somehow the ball's at his feet. But there was a lot of times where I felt like Salah was in great positions, cut inside, applying a few crosses. Some were decent, some were a bit, you know, overly hit there, and it's gone for a goal kick in the end. So I thought he was definitely making the effort to try and be the creator for our team this fixture. Obviously, he got the goal, simple finish, like smashed it in from close range, as you expect from your attacker or right winger or your striker, however you want to label Mohamed Salah. And then, of course, got the assist um, later on in the game as well. So So yeah, I thought he had a good game, to be honest with you. Obviously the assist was a few yards out. It's just a simple pass for Trent, but it's still recorded as an assist or another one for his tally. I thought he was probably one of my better attackers today, if I'm being honest. So in that regards, I'm going to give him. I'll give him an 8 out of 10. I think that's the right score for someone that's provided a good performance overall and also produced a goal and an assist. So for me, it's a solid 8 out of 10. Jota, big talking points is how he's performed today. I wasn't pleased with him today, if I'm being brutally honest. He had a number of chances. He had a header that he failed to make contact on, which is quite strange because he's normally really good in the air. The one that really annoyed me was the one-on-one where they had just scored and we could have just had an instant reaction and equal score just before the halftime whistle. And in that moment, you're thinking, just slow it into the corner. Don't need to hit it with power. It's not that angle because he wasn't directly in front of the keeper. It was a bit more on the left side. So kind of like what Thierry used to do back in the day, just cushion the ball around it, and you just try and find that corner between the goal and the net, and the netting and the post. So that's where you're trying to aim at. And I don't know what technique he used because I can't even describe it as him slicing it. It was just a flat shot and it ended up just going straight with no curl whatsoever, and it probably reached the corner flag. So for me, that's a poor miss for a player of his ability. In the second half, he did have a moment where he produced a great first touch and a snapshot straight away that clipped the top of the bar. But I think in terms of what he's asked to do, what his role is in the team, and that's to be a killer in front of goal, for me, this wasn't good enough. Obviously, it wasn't as bad as what Nunes produced on the pitch. We'll touch on very shortly. But I expect more from Jota. And I feel like he had a lot of chances to hit the back of the net and was unable to do so today. So in that regards, I can't give him a great rating today, unfortunately. So I'm going to give Jota 4 out of 10. And that is my player rating for the first 11. Now, in terms of the man of the match, I'm going to go for Mohamed Salah. He's got the highest rating. Therefore, he gets man of the match. So Mohamed Salah is my man of the match. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know who you believe is your man of the match, and feel free to let me know what you think of my rating as well. And feel free to let me know what your ratings are in the chat. So what we'll do now is we'll quickly bring on the subs and give their performance rating as well. A lot of them didn't really have huge impact, but we'll talk about it now. So we'll bring on Connor Bradley. I think he's one of the first ones to come on for Trent, like for that substitution. And then you've got, who else do we have? We have Darwin Nunes for Jota. Darwin Nunes. And then Diaz for McAllister. And then we have Kwanzaa. Let me quickly give Bradley a rating because unfortunately he picked up an injury. So Kwanzaa came on later on. So in terms of Bradley's performance, I actually thought he had a decent cameo when he came on. He only played for about 10 or so minutes. But his first impact was that through ball for Szoboszlai that led to the open goal miss from Nunes. Instant impact there. Energetic, decent passing range. And yeah, it's a concern. I'm not going to lie in terms of him pick up an injury. At the time, I thought, hindsight is one hell of a thing, right? At the time, I thought the substitution was quite early. I would have waited 10 more minutes for Trent to have been substituted because I felt like Trent was in a good um, momentum there. Uh, just got the goal. He's fired up. Like he was ready to really go and help the team out because he was playing with a bit more freedom, playing a bit more inverted than normal, and he was taken off. And then Conor Bradley came on. Conor Bradley did what was requested for him to do in this game, but then 10 minutes later he gets an injury. So maybe if that substitution didn't happen, maybe we would have picked up an injury. Obviously, I'm talking like I'm about to predict the future or something, but you got to look back. Was it needed at that time? For me, not really. I think we needed our attack to be addressed. I would have brought on Diaz at that time and probably Darwin Nunes. Those would have been one of the players I would have brought on, or just one. So maybe Diaz and then bring on Darwin Núñez later on. But that's not how it happened, unfortunately. But in terms of his performance, decent cameo. I really hope it's just a knock and he was taken off for precaution purposes rather than anything else. So I'm gonna give him a 6 out of 10. I thought he had a decent cameo when he came on. Let's talk about Darwin Núñez. Um, Absolutely awful performance. People are gonna think I have an agenda. I don't. I really, really don't. I try to be as honest as possible when it comes to reviewing the players when I do my player ratings. But he did zero today, literally zero. Like there was nothing positive about his output. The miss, absolutely poor. Then he had that moment on the left hand side where he should have squared it to Salah, but then ends up trying to go past Martin without dinking the ball or getting away from the goalkeeper. And he just, he gets flattered, but obviously it was a fair challenge from Martinez. So that's another moment where he should have done better there. So for me, and then he had another moment where Salah gave him the ball and then he threaded it to Szoboszlai, and it was like a pass that was like yards away from him. It was just like a simple pass that needed to be done, and he just couldn't produce it. So other than that, he didn't do anything else. I know there's one or two moments where he blocked the ball for a corner kick, but that's not what you're there for. So for me, the Nunes army is not gonna like this rating, but I have to keep it 100, guys. It gets a 0. Can't give him a rating. He was poor today. He should have scored that open goal. I'm not gonna say we should have got the win and it was his fault entirely. Throughout the 9 minutes, we should have done better as a team. We had chances to take the lead a long time before that opportunity. But that was a defining moment where if he had hit the back of the net, we could have got the win in the end. So you do have to look at it in that way. But for me, awful performance. I can't really speak anything positive, so I'm going to leave it at that. Let's move on to the next player, and that is Diaz. This guy played for like 10 minutes, and I have no idea what he did. Oh, apologies. Let me just put him in his correct position. Jones is there and Diaz is there. I don't know what he did. I feel like he only made about a few touches. So I don't even know if I should really give him a rating, but I will do on the basis of what we do today. Um, 3 out of 10. I can't give him an average rating because it wasn't average what he did. Like he was barely involved, so I've got to lower it down a bit. 4 would suggest that he's put in effort, but he didn't do anything well. 3 for me, I just feel like he was ghost, so I'm just gonna give him a 3 out of 10. I can't give him anything higher. Um, And then, so this would be the next one. So unfortunately, Conor Burnley picked up an injury, so therefore he was substituted, and Kwanzaa came on. Didn't really play a number of minutes, to be honest with you. Played for probably like 5 or so minutes, and the only memory that I have is that he challenged Tyrone Mings on one occasion um, from a set piece, and he ended up making a block. And I can't really think of anything else other than that. So for me, at least something stands out for me to give him a rating. Whereas Diaz, I don't remember him taking a touch, if I'm being brutally honest. If you went onto your website to see the stats, it might be I'm incorrect. And he did take 5, 6, 7, 8 touches, but I do not remember. I generally don't. I actually forgot he actually was on the pitch. When I was doing my player ratings, I had to go through my timeline to see when the players came on, and yeah, I realized he did actually come on, but he has zero impact on the game. So Kwanzaa, I gave him a 4, or was that a bit harsh? I'll give him a 5 because it was an average cameo for about the 5, 6 minutes that he played. Didn't do anything bad, so I can't. If he made an error or something, then I'd give him a 4, but I don't think he did. So I will give him a 5. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt today. So that is my player ratings, and that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. In terms of upcoming content, I will be doing a match preview of Man City versus Liverpool tomorrow evening, and then we'll have the live watch along of that fixture on Sunday. Let me double check what time is the kickoff. It is at 4:30 p.m. UK time, so I'll be live from 4:25, and we'll go through the lineups together, see who's starting for both teams. give our early verdicts of how we're feeling going into the game. And yeah, feel free to get involved, send your comments during the live chat. And yeah, let's watch the game together and see how we do. Hopefully, we get the win. We don't have the best record at the Etihad, but hopefully we can switch it up and change our fortune this weekend. Because we've not had much luck in recent games, so hopefully, you know, something can change this weekend. So yeah, let's see how it goes. But that is it for this evening, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you guys very, very soon. Goodbye.